Welcome, everyone.
Full stop. Hey, everybody. This is the metal in the future. Not the one you were listening to just there. This was originally recorded for a different show, but it fit this series of podcasts so much that I just kind of erased the intro to the last one, and I'm just putting it here because I was talking to Newgrounds users, which is what I do in this show. So ignore all that. Welcome to Within the Underpass, and I hope you have a good time with whatever guest is on this program. It could be one of two episodes. Anyway, check it out, and we'll continue now.
Joining me today are two guests, only one of which you'll get to hear is Saphtea and Vurbank, who respectively will be referring to as Saph and Vurb because it's easier. And how are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good, honestly. Just been working on music mostly with another homie of mine. Vurb says he's doing awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, just to let everybody know that Vurb doesn't have a mic from what I'm told, or refuses to use it. I don't know what the actual situation is, but Saph, referred to as his partner in crime, you will be voicing both people as far as I'm aware.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you guys are primarily musicians,
Yeah.
respectively. I actually didn't listen to everything because some of your SoundCloud stuff is pretty full, but I did catch everything that didn't have samples that you guys have uploaded to Newgrounds before we did this. Say I do like both of your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, respectively, both very good at what you're doing. Of course, I just like good music. I'm of that opinion of like Louis Armstrong always said that there's two types of music and he plays the good kind. And that's kind of like my opinion of music. I like the good kind.
That dichotomy kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, we do have a rare Kirby in the chat says, "Give me a shout out, Vurb." I don't think somebody who can't talk can give you a shout out, but I'll do it for you.
Vurb says he knows Rare Kirby.
That's good.
That's the shout out.
There you go. Yeah, so I think a good way to start before even talking about your projects. I know Vurb specifically said that I don't know if you guys were working together, if this is just him, but he has like an album being dropped soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why we were going to do this. But before we get into projects, why do you guys got into music in the first place? Like each of you, what are your background on why you got interested in doing music, and we can move on from there.
For sure. I mean, for me, like, I just got into music because, like, my parents pretty much put me into drum lessons, like, straight off the bat in, like, 3rd grade or something like that. So I started playing drums, I started playing percussion in band, and then one fateful day when I was 14, one of my best friends at the time came up to me and was like, "Dude, you should check out FL Studio, bro. Like, you should start producing." And told me to pirate it, basically, and I was like, "Okay." And I started a trial of Ableton Live, and 30-day trial, and fell in love with it. My mom got it for me for Christmas, and I've just been kind of going since then, going 10 years strong right now.
That's nice.
So, yeah. Vurb said he's a lot of big Jamaican dance hall music, reggae, radio hip hop, a lot of that stuff, house music in the clubs in Toronto. His family introduced him to music a lot.
Oh, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah. And I know his dad's a DJ too, so
oh, really?
He definitely has that big background in music in general. Yeah, he taught Vurb. His dad taught him.
Kind of like runs in the family there. I have a lot of musicians in my family. I just, aside from singing, I never really got into the whole music creation thing. Like maybe I'll dabble here and there, but it's not mine. But I get having like family members who are musician, inspiring and stuff like that.
Yeah, it gets you in. I mean, like, my mom and dad were not really musical at all, like barely musical. But my brother and sister really got into it with just playing guitar and singing and shit like that. Um, and it immersed me a bit more into the scene. Just like seeing them play live shows and stuff with their friends
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, you know, we had all sorts of like little coffee shops and shit like that that they would play at, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always nice,
Yeah.
especially local live stuff is really what gets anybody into anything, really, because it's like
Yeah,
you feel like you're a part of it when you get to experience it live and local.
it's that community, dude. It really is. It's like, I mean, I went to a metal show recently. Like, I don't normally go to metal stuff, but just being a part of the community, fucking everyone starting to headbang and shit like that, like it was an awesome experience. I was sore as fuck the next day, but it's it really gets you going for sure. And Verb said they really love the local musicians over in New York as well.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah,
My family's up from that area, so I know. And you know, they're actually pretty good
that's
here in like the
awesome.
Dallas area when it comes to local shows and stuff. Not as good as Austin, but still pretty good in this
Yeah,
area.
totally.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's great.
Austin's got that for sure.
Yeah, especially if you're just bored one day and you just happen to be on like either Fifth or Sixth Street, but primarily Fifth Street in Austin, and you're just like, I want to check out some music. There's like 100 options. Some people playing in local venues, some people just on the street jamming. It's a great place.
That's fucking awesome. Verb said Austin seems like a cool place. How is it for you?
Uh, well, you know, I don't live there. I'm up in the Dallas area, but I have visited there quite often,
Okay.
and it's cool in bursts. Like I don't think I'd ever want to live
Yeah.
there, but it's a great place to live not too far from if you just want to visit it.
I hear it's sort of the California of Texas a little bit.
Yeah, not as bad. It might be getting that way. Because Austin, you know, like most of Texas, is still a bunch of like libertarian people and stuff that just don't want you getting in
Oh,
their business. So it's mostly a lot of
right.
hippies than anything. And then there's the motto "Keep
Yeah.
Austin weird." So it's great in burst. I wouldn't want to be there
Yeah.
long term.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's great.
Portland's kind of like a similar thing to that a little bit.
Yeah,
Like it's a lot. It's a lot. Like they have some weird shit going on over there too. They got like weird hill people and shit like that. It's an interesting area.
yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd want to go to Portland proper right now, specifically, but my cousin
Yeah.
lives up in Salem, which is like right
Oh
outside of
wow.
Portland. He actually is an auditor for the city, and it's like, you know, I'd go visit there. That seems like a pretty nice place.
It does. Little out on the skirts of the
Hmm.
craziness a little bit. Verb said you hear they legalized all hard drugs in Oregon.
Kind of. They decriminalized them, which is like
Right.
soft legalization.
Pretty funny.
Which I mean, you might
People
as
be
well.
wild and
The hill people are
it
doing them
might
anyway.
work.
Like, what are you gonna do? Arrest them?
Exactly. Just fill up your prisons just a little bit more, like
You can even find them. They're like,
yeah,
those hill people know them better than you do. They're gone. They're just into the woods. They'll be back in their house in a few days after they know you're gone.
exactly. Pretty fucking funny.
Dude, I come from a family of hill people. I tell you this. Like,
Yeah.
even though like my most immediate family, we were in New Jersey for the longest time until a lot of us moved down to Texas.
Okay.
But a, a lot of my family came from West Virginia. In fact, we still have property there that my dad inherited, and I'm gonna get after him. And it's
Oh,
all in the
sick.
hills. And then a bunch of the people that moved over here to Texas moved to
Yeah.
Fisher, which is just outside Austin, and it's just in the hills. Like, oh, so you guys went back to being hill
Yee.
people.
Right. The natural progression. Return to monkey.
Return to monkey. Yeah.
Return to monkey.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But so let's get back to what we were talking about. Not just like how you guys get into. What are your inspirations for music? You know, like where do you draw from? Because I noticed you guys a little different in variants, but you're not too far off in
Oh,
sounds. Like you guys like a lot of smooth stuff that you're making.
yeah.
A lot of like fusion of jazz, maybe some techno here and there, a little electronic. So like, what are your inspirations for stuff?
Honestly, it comes from a lot of stuff. Dude, just listening to like random people on SoundCloud is for some reason so inspiring because like a lot of people on there are like one-hit wonders a little bit, but
Yeah,
those hits that they make are the weirdest, like strangest, fucking most interesting things you've ever heard.
yeah,
Um, and it's like that, like going through a lot of SoundCloud shit throughout the years, just listening to my likes. But also, like, I grew up with like ska, reggae, and kind of harder rock a little bit.
hmm
Um, and especially a band called RX Bandits was huge for me because their drummer is just fucking spectacular. The guitarists are insanely technical. It was like the type of music that you listen to, and then like once you start listening to math rock, like you fall in love with math rock because it's everything about that but more. Um, and yeah, it's pretty cool that, and especially my recent productions, I've taken a lot of inspiration from JPEG Mafia as
okay,
well.
okay.
Vurb was saying he really likes Childish Gambino's early stuff back when like he was in Community and stuff, and no one wanted to hear his rap. Um, One thing about it was that like he kind of produced his own backing tracks that he used to rap over,
Yeah.
and it used to be Verb's like main inspiration in music
Mm.
production.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. I had to go back and listen to it because I didn't realize who Childish Gambino was at the moment, but I did remember it's like, hey, isn't
Yeah,
that the guy from Derek Comedy?
right.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, it is the same person. I have to
Donald
listen to his
Glover,
stuff
dude.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. I didn't personally listen to any of his early stuff though. Now I kind of gotta. I got in at because the internet pretty much. Um, which is also just a fucking fantastic album. Verb says, "Yeah, Derek Comedy was such a fucking
Dude,
landmark."
I loved that back in the day.
And yeah, he's agreeing with me because the internet's a beautiful album. And there's so much, it's so fucking dynamic. It's got these like hard ass hitting, like distorted ass 808s and shit. And then it just goes into like Flight of the Navigator, which is just like these beautiful acoustic guitar, like
Yeah.
with all this shimmering fucking Foley and atmospheric stuff in the background. It's great. Verb said he loves everything Glover does and has been a fan for like years, and would say because the internet is an inspiration for him as well.
Yeah, it's great. I pretty much like everything he does too. Just took me a
Yeah.
while to realize, like, oh, I didn't know he was a musician as well.
Right? And it's so funny because like back in the day, dude, I used to be like, I don't like hip hop. I don't like rap. Like that shit sucks. And then I had one of my exes tried to get me into because the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like super like at first. Like I was pretty resistant to it. But like we just had it as a CD in our car. So I'd start listening to it on the way to work and shit like that. And it just started to sink in. And I was like, fuck, this is like something else. Like this isn't bullshit. Like and rap and hip hop is great. I was just like a fucking prude at the time.
Yeah, I really like a lot of good stuff. Like it's a shame that we just lost him recently, but I'm really into DMX. Right?
Yeah,
But
totally,
I used to think
totally.
I hated rap and hip hop, not because I heard good stuff and I was being a prude. My mom got into it during like a drug phase, and she only listened to
Yeah.
like the worst stuff, and it gave me like a
Oh
really
no.
bad like example. And then I heard stuff like DMX, and like,
Yeah,
oh no, this stuff slaps. Like, I love this.
totally. Yeah, because I mean, all I heard before that was like pop like pop hip hop, and some of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit is really good. I can appreciate it now. But like for a first listen, it's just like this shit is like so surface level and it's like
Yeah.
dumb. But yeah, but you know, because the internet was the thing that really broke it for me, and I was like, damn, this genre really be slapping though. There's something here. So yeah, that, and then I mean now I'm into fucking JPEG, who's super intense. Which I probably would not have ever seen myself listening to like back in the day. But his production is something so special, dude. Like it goes between kind of that smoothness and the more cut, like hard ass fucking production styles. Like
Yeah.
and one really cool thing I noticed he did is that for some of his songs he'll record people that are giving him feedback on a song. Like someone will go like, "Oh, like I really like this chord change" or something like that, and he'll put it into the song. Like he'll put people's feedback into what he's making.
That's nice.
Um,
I like that.
that's really fucking cool, yeah. And Verb said DMX is a huge inspiration to him as well. He was literally the same area
Oh,
he's
nice. Yeah.
from.
I know that
Yeah,
area.
R.I.P. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great,
him,
man.
and then I mean MF Doom obviously too. Like MF Doom's huge. Um, Buster Rhymes went to Verb's high school,
Oh man, you are
Long
right in
Island.
the area where like hip hop exploded, aren't you?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's a great place to be, I guess. Well, at times. It's also a horrible
At
place at other
times.
times, and that's why hip hop exploded from there. It was out of
Right.
the adversity that it became such a strong thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it can be Verb said, yeah, it can be very ghetto or very posh. Yeah, I could
Yeah,
absolutely see that.
it's a very stern dichotomy between the two, and you never know which one you're gonna run into.
Yeah. That's funny as fuck. That's wild.
Yeah, one of my old co-hosts for the main show is over up in
Yeah.
Long Island right now because that's where his family's from. But
Oh
he's more
shit.
north, away from the city.
Yeah, totally. It's a better place to be.
Yeah, away from the city. That's usually the best place to be, unless like you're really into the arts and you're willing to suffer for it. I never understood the term suffering for my art. Right?
Yeah,
Back when I was a kid, I'm
right.
like, what do you mean? Like, you could just find a way to make it work. Until I realized that, like, one of the best places for art to flourish is in population centers. Like, oh, I get it now.
It's true. And I mean, you can have art without suffering, but it's definitely a huge inspiration for, you got shit you have going on, and music is a really great therapy
Yeah.
for just trauma or fucking adversity or whatever the fuck you're going through.
Yeah, well, it's something I've noticed too about music, right? Especially,
Yeah.
I do have an ear for it, coming from a family with a
Yeah,
propensity for music. And I've noticed that
totally.
the environment in which you create music actually affects the music a lot, right? So like when you're in
Yeah.
the urban environment and there's like almost like this natural rhythm and beat to the environment, you get like these heavier slapping sounds, right? These
Yeah.
almost like industrial sounds that influence how the beat and the rhythm of the music goes. As opposed to, like if you're just out in the countryside, you get more of this like slow melodic sound and stuff like that.
Like wistful almost,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, like I grew up in a fucking for most of my life, I grew up in a really fucking like posh, like maybe not posh, but it's the kind of place where when we first moved there, it was just kind of a place where you could be in like a community, like a fucking gated neighborhood or some shit,
Hmm.
and there wasn't anything else out there really for like miles. But then it got super developed, and all the rich, like really rich people started coming in and shit like that. and it became this like epicenter for angsty teens and ska. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's suburban, like you almost suburban and ska go like hand
Well,
in
that's
hand
the weird thing about
almost.
ska. Ska to me sounds like suburban music, and I don't know if it has
Yeah.
anything to do with the fact that it was always playing in Tony Hawk games, and like half of them, like some of them were urban areas, but most of the areas were suburban, right?
Right,
And
right.
but I think the other thing is ska sounds like, and I know it comes from reggae, but if reggae was just left in suburbia for too long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's pretty much what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely have a friend that's was upset over ska, is trying to like get over it now because they're just
Yeah.
like, you know, music is music.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like ska is in a sense like whitewashed like reggae hall kind of. Um and it's yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's music.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chad
Verb
says
said
ska predates reggae. Well, let's say it directly comes from reggae. They all come from the same root. They branch from the same place.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Verb's saying ska's a super good genre. He loves it for
Yeah.
all its generations and doesn't blame it for its evolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. I feel like that's a healthy way to look at music because everything just kind of inspires each other, you know? And that's like how you get really fucking diverse ass sounds too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Verb saying just look at modern rap.
Yeah, that's a
I
weird
mean,
evolution too. Like it's completely understandable when you
tick,
look at
tick,
the
clack.
trajectory, but
Yeah. Totally. There's no more swing.
ah,
God damn.
swing is so good
It's
too.
true. I mean, there is like the Jay Dilla, right?
Yeah.
Type swing where it's like a drum machine and you do the shit like barely off time and stuff like that. But not people really seem to be doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And like pop at least, you know, pop's very like let's quantize the shit out of it. Let's make sure it's exactly on time.
Yeah. It's just like there's some good songs that fit within, popular music. But my problem
Yeah,
usually with pop is that it's so sterile. Which is why I
totally.
like what you were saying with the whole SoundCloud thing, right? Like and SoundCloud's got like a good auto generator where you just leave it on after listening to a song and it'll just loop you with something that has something to do with
Their
it. And
algorithms are good.
yeah.
Yeah. I found this song. Speaking of inspirations, there's this song I found on SoundCloud that like is both really fucking great in terms of composition and sound design and all that shit. But like, you know, I've had a few areas where I've just been like, I just need to like get work basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the song literally just repeats. It's just like get a job, 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 get a job. And it is like my inspiration now for like when I need to go out and find work. Like I listen to the shit out of that.
Yeah, and I probably need that.
It's fucking good. I feel with that, dude. But yeah, you know, there's so much diversity in SoundCloud and people are just borrowing from whatever, sampling from whatever.
Yeah. And it's raw. That's what makes it
It's
good.
really good.
It's like it's whatever the person's
Yeah,
feeling and they just do it.
exactly. And so there's something interesting I wanted to comment on about pop, like modern pop, is like it's such a I feel like modern pop will always reflect uh like modern technology kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the time modern pop is almost showing off exactly what we can do at this very moment to like makes use like the best technology to actually make it. And that's kind of why we hear like, you know, such just such straight notes, like not really a lot of swing,
Yeah.
but also like, you know, auto tune super rampant. And there's nothing wrong with auto tune either. Like I use fucking Melodyne to manually tune my vocals all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But but it's definitely like pop, you're seeing like what the latest technology can do pretty much, and what it can do is all digital and it's all very harsh and very, you know, straight in terms of rhythm and it's funny. And yeah, Verb saying pop seems so easy to make, and it genuinely is. Like I've
It's very
started to make more
formulaic.
pop. Yeah, it's very formulaic
Yeah.
because I've been like starting to make more pop indie recently, and I've been doing more experimental stuff with it. But like as far as composition goes, you're just going like, okay, intro, verse, chorus again,
Yeah.
and whatever the fuck, like it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, and it's like one of the things like why technology has to be what pushes it, which is kind of always
Yeah.
pushes music throughout the history
Right.
of music, but it's pushing it faster now because the death of the album and like
Yeah.
production studios can't like rely on genre work anymore, like because genres used to go
No.
through cycles, right, where they would have like their
Yeah.
peak and then they would go down and albums would show that off. But because albums are dead and everything's just like digital now, and you can still put out an album, but it's so much easier to just hear singles that I think that technology really has to push it. There's nothing else to do it.
It's true. And I'll say I have a point on that, but I'll just say what Verb said when me and him were just in a VC together in the studio. It just sounded like what I was making just started sounding like a commercial song. Like, as I'm starting to experiment around with these pop sounds, like
like a jingle.
Yeah, like a jingle. But fuck, what were you saying again just before that?
Oh, how with the death of the album and kind of like the death of genre,
That's right.
technology has to
Okay.
push it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's such an interesting thing. I have a friend that works on a TV show, does music for them, and is sort of starting to push their own like pop personality a little bit. And one of their managers told them to start keeping songs under 3 minutes and to only release EPs or singles. And
That's funny.
it's not the first place I've heard it, Like I had a friend that's a part of an indie band, or was, and they kept putting out albums, and then they just stopped, and the dude like talked to me, and he was just like, "Yeah, dude, I just do EPs, or just do singles, to be honest." Like, it's advice from everywhere in the industry. It's so weird. It's changing
weird
so fast.
It's kind of going back around again because back before you could have full albums, right, with like the old vinyl day, it was singles.
Right.
Like you'd have the A side and the B side, and because of like jukeboxes, everything
Yeah.
had to be between like 2 to 3 minutes long anyway. And then eventually,
Totally.
things started getting longer, but because of the way digital music is, it's just kind of coming right back around again.
Yeah. Because it's just like people buy single songs or they just stream your latest thing. They kind of want the newest thing like right now,
And they want it to be like a
So-
digital jukebox. Like they just want to leave it on shuffle, listen to a song for a couple minutes, go to the next one.
Totally. Yeah. Because music, I mean, that's a whole nother subject even of just like music has become so flooded like
Yeah.
with just music producers. I mean, music has become so accessible, like thankfully for me and for Verb, because it allows us to do what we want to do, but it's definitely made like a flooded market and people just go from song to song to song. But I don't know, at the same time, like I definitely have some people that'll just listen to my music on repeat, and that's really fucking cool to hear.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the people a little bit.
Yeah. But we are
Yeah.
about half an hour in, so I think that's good enough
Okay.
for the starting, just kind of casual conversation. And we should probably get around to
Yeah.
actually talking about your guys' projects now.
Totally,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what are you guys up to currently?
So I am releasing an EP it's coming to stores on the 16th. It is just a small EP about about being side pieced. about the first song is, at least. So I was dating someone and they were apparently dating someone else the entire time.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
it's a
best
little
art
bit
does
about
come from
that.
experience.
Exactly. The best art comes from pain. And it's like yeah, so I don't know. The first song is about that. The second song is just about kind of reconciling with some past people that, you know, kept trying to stay in my life, but like I didn't really want them to. And I kind of just tried to close it in with sort of looking to the future kind of thing. So it's kind of a nice little like tidy story almost of like
Yeah.
just going through all these motions and then just having that like, you know, I know things are bad, but like they can only get better, you know?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's a romp.
Yeah, yeah. Like the experience, not so much, but I mean that's what makes a good person. But I mean, getting to
Yeah.
experience it secondhand through somebody sounds like a fun time.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're fun songs. Like the first song's
Yeah.
pretty fucking cut and dry and intense. uh, but that EP is named Weirdos.
No, nice.
Um, and yeah, and it was cool. We did the art for it was a collaborative effort between some Newgrounds people. So it's kind of a cool little album art thing on it. It has art from a bunch of different people and all their names on it. Uh, yeah, it was a fun project.
Oh, that's
Then
good.
Vurb has his album coming out pretty soon. Vurb, when's your album coming out again? Do you got a date? July 22nd
Oh,
is
that's
when
really
Verb's
soon.
album is coming out.
Yeah, so both of
And
you guys stuff's
Verb's
coming out
music.
soon.
Yeah. And Verb's music is beautiful, dude. It's called the album's called Cindy's Prom Night. And
Alright, that
it's
also
just
sounds
like
pretty fun.
yeah, a good romp.
Mhm.
And you know, Verb does like a lot of really just wonderful sampling, does beautiful drums. I think Verb wants to do a preview of one of the songs if you'd be welcome to.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
get me a link or whatever, or however you want to do it. We can definitely preview anything. We got some
Cool.
Newgrounds gang in the chat too.
Bring a party pop! Oh god. We made this song that's just fucking oh my god.
Yeah, I had to put your
Um
SoundCloud links in the description, which has a wider range of your stuff anyway, as opposed to Newgrounds, because YouTube
Cool.
has a problem with Newgrounds links and automatically flags videos that have them in the description. So
Wow. What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, they
Well,
flag it
I'm
as
fine with
adult
the
content.
SoundCloud. That's so dumb. Oh
Mhm.
my god. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, if we do a preview of one of Verb's, did you want to do a preview of one of mine too?
Yeah, we could preview both.
Cool.
However long
Sounds
you guys want to
good.
go, that's fine.
Sweet. All right, I got my link ready. This is the side piece song.
Okay. Here, let's bring this up and let's see what's a good level. Let's try.
It's pretty loud, so
Pretty loud. Okay.
yeah, I mixed it pretty fucking loud.
Probably fine where it is then. Let's see. How's it sound to you?
Sounds good. Voices are audible.
I don't really understand what this was all for. You stood me up just like a prom queen on the dance floor. 'Cause I was the side piece. What else did you want me for? 'Cause he even know what happened, or is he just a weirdo? And I'm taking time, the time to
Yeah, how much of this do you want us to sample?
As much as you want, doesn't matter.
Oh, I mean, I'm fine with us listening to the whole thing. I don't care.
For sure, that's fine.
It's not like it's an extremely long song or anything.
No, yeah. Keeping it under that 3-minute mark.
Yeah. Well, because I saw you had some, like, one song was like 5 minutes or whatever when I was going through.
Yeah.
Newgrounds, which I like long songs, but definitely for sampling, it's the under that 3-minute mark is great.
Yeah, definitely. So that voice you're hearing,
Mm-hmm.
that's a machine learning thing where they trained a program on a bunch of different people saying different languages, and it just popped out its own sort of language and audio. It's
that's
really
cool.
weird. Yeah.
See, that's why I love when artists use all kinds of like different interesting tools at their disposal, because like anything can be an instrument of music, right?
Exactly. Just be as creative as possible.
It's like because I know people in the like physical arts, the traditional like drawing illustration, that get really
Yeah.
hung up about using tools or whatever, and they think some things are cheating or whatever. It's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it would help certain things, like you got to learn your anatomy and everything like that, but
Yeah.
but for the most part, art of all types are illusions. Like you're the
Right.
illusionist, and it's all about what the audience experiences at the end.
It is. It's about the
Yeah.
end product. That's all that matters. So use
Yeah.
shitty crayons or something like that. Just like make it look good in its final product, in its final form.
Oh, he wants me to save this. Okay, I'm gonna have to save his
So the-
thing real quick to open it up.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, should be fine though.
So this is just some random tune that we kind of busted out. I preferred not to put my name on it for reasons you'll see in a moment.
Well, anybody
but I
who
did the vocals
watches
for
this is
this.
gonna know now.
Yep, absolutely. little insider information.
Here we go. I love how like everything Vurbank does has that at the beginning.
I know, it's awesome. That's Party Paul. Yeah, that's Party Paul.
Featuring Party Paul. You know what though? This slaps. I like it.
Don't it? It actually does.
Thank you for sending me this, Vurb. I'm keeping it.
Good.
You know, this reminds me of because I listen to a lot of internet music, right?
Yeah, right.
And some of my favorite stuff is Neil Cicerega's like mouth series of like albums, like mouth sounds and stuff like that.
What? I don't think I've heard that before.
Oh yeah, because you know Neil, Lemon Demon, right?
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So he's got like a whole series of music, and it's like the first one I think was called Mouth Sounds, and it's like just mixes of Smash Mouth stuff. But then afterwards, it just goes like really out there for all the other mouth stuff. And
Yeah.
he starts mixing together all kinds of different artists and stuff, all thematically, whatever. So he'll like mix together Crocodile. What's that song by Elton John? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember
yeah.
the name though.
But he'll mix that with Chop Suey from System of a Down and stuff like that. And
Yes!
Yeah,
Oh
like,
my
the
god.
mashups are great. And
That's
he's got these
fucking
two
awesome.
songs. They're some of my favorite. One is called Piss and one is called Shit. And you just have to go listen to those two after we're done here.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. I'm absolutely writing that down.
Yeah, I really dig this party, Paul.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Do you know what fucking frat I'm from? Sigma Omega Alpha. I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. I'm gonna get Todd to fucking fuck you in the ass, bro.
I
Yes,
agree.
sir.
That was the most important part of the song.
It absolutely was. Holy shit. So yeah, so that was a fun one. That was a fun one to make, to be honest. I was a little worried about like screaming like the walls in my apartment are paper thin, so I'm sure my fucking neighbors heard every bit of that.
That's great.
Yeah, Weirdos coming out July 16th. Fucking Cindy's Prom Night coming out July 22nd.
Yeah, that's really close to each other, but it's still also like a good distance between them too, that they're like not cramping each other.
Yeah, exactly. It ain't too bad.
Yeah.
I kind of just pulled the release date out of my ass too. Like it's just like I was like, okay, today's the fucking what? It was like the 9th or something, and I was like, okay, give it a week.
Dude, that's like everything I do is like, this is kind of done now. I could release it now. I'm gonna drop it a week or two, whatever.
Exactly. Just give it a second so you can put some promo material up,
Mhm.
like whatever, get people hyped over it.
Yeah,
The
it's
creator mindset,
It's just
absolutely.
like, whatever.
You want to
It
deliver it
sounds
as fast
like
as possible.
everything's going according to plan, but what you don't realize is the plan was just made up last second.
Right? Nobody will notice. That's kind of the thing too, is like once you finish something though, you want it kind of out of your mind. So you're just like, just fucking publish it, please.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like the webcomic, because Vurb does want to talk about a graphic novel, which we can do that in a second.
Cool.
But the
Okay.
cool thing about doing a webcomic is you should have a schedule, but it's hard to schedule everything in life. And if I have an established webcomic where everybody already knows where it is, I can kind of just like drop a page whenever I'm done with it,
Right.
and it's whatever. And then when the chapter's done, then I can make a print copy if people actually want it. But it's like that page is
Yeah.
out of my hands now. People can just enjoy it.
Right. You get to move on with your life, so to speak. Yeah, it's hella funny.
Mm.
But yeah,
yeah,
that's
so-
cool. Wait, so you make a webcomic or
Oh yeah, I make all kinds of things, but I make.
that's
webcomics.
awesome.
Yeah.
I will have to check that out after the podcast after the interview.
Yeah. It has its own website, but you can also find it on my Newgrounds. Put up in. I use the playlist function to actually keep the volumes together, since you can have up to
Oh,
like
cool.
100 things in a single playlist. So like, volume 1, which is like the first 4 chapters, it's like 80 something pages, are all in one playlist, and so on and so forth.
That's awesome. That's really sick. Does that there's a playlist function on Newgrounds?
Yes, you can group anything into a playlist, and it can have like 100.
Yo, let's go! I did not know about that. Thank you.
It's basically just a folder. That's all it is.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But,
That'll be
like,
good for EPs though.
Yeah. So like, I don't know how well it works. Like, I don't think it auto plays or anything, but you can have like the folder open and then just right click each thing in a new tab as you're ready to enjoy it.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
rad. I'll have to fucking use that. But that's sick. What's your webcomic about? If you don't mind me asking.
It's, man, I'm supposed to be the one interviewing, but it's called
Got
X
him.
Dynamis Chaos, and it is the backbone story, but also the name of a world. So I do like side stories and stuff like that have nothing to do with the main story. But the main story of X Dynamis
That's cool.
Chaos is about a group of freelancers who take on just really crazy jobs that nobody else will. So they end up like
Ooh.
hunting demons or tracking down aliens or delivering packages that people want to kill them over and stuff like that. And it's kind of like halfway between a cape comic and like a shonen manga. And it's just
Okay,
like you have
gotcha.
absolutely no idea what's going to happen in it from moment to moment.
That's fucking awesome. That sounds sick. Oh, what was the name of it again?
Ex Dynamis Chaos, which is Latin for of plentiful or of bountiful chaos.
Very cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
check that shit out. Vurb
Yeah.
said he loves the concept of that too. Sounds
Yeah.
dope.
Talking about real life experiences actually is very much just hyperbole of my real life experience, because what I do when I'm not podcasting or making things is I just do random freelance work, and a lot of times I pick up the stuff that is just sitting there for a while and people don't want to touch it. And it's like, pays a couple $100, I'll take it.
Absolutely. If it pays, dude,
Yeah.
then that's it.
I mean, none of it's any as interesting as the stuff I write about. Like occasionally it's just
Right.
Somebody's yard is so overgrown it's practically a jungle. They need 3 people to tackle it. And it's like, well, I got 2 people I can get with me. But still,
That's
there's a
legit.
lot of real life experience in it.
Where do you find those from? Just Craigslist? Or
Yeah,
what?
Craigslist usually. That's usually the best place to find it, because they just sit there for a while, and if it's too old, you kind of assume that it's a job that's been handled. But if it's like weird
Right.
enough, you send an email anyway just in case, and then you find out it's like, yeah, nobody's bothered to do this thing.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to try that someday. Actually,
Yeah.
that sounds fun. Get some extra dough.
Yeah. And if you do enough of them, it's actually a pretty good income. It's like you can end up making more money than most people do at going to a job daily.
That's fucking. It sounds more interesting than going to a job daily too.
Yeah, it's just stressful because you never know when the next thing you pick up is. It's like it's all on you. But at the same time, it's kind
Yeah.
of relieving because it's all on you.
Yeah, you get to decide. You know,
Yeah.
that is cool.
Yeah.
Verb, what was the comic you wanted? Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's what I'm about to ask the exact same thing.
Yeah. Verb, what was the comic you wanted to bring up? What was that comic? Perfection Incarnate.
Mm.
Sounds interesting. Tell us a little bit about it. His friend named Biggie Raisin Juice made it. They're old
I
friends.
like that name. That's a good name.
That's great. Yeah. Where can it be found, Verb? On Webtoon? He's gonna link it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. We get a link.
Cool.
I'm gonna go drop
Yeah.
that. I'm also gonna drop that song that you shared in the
Oh yeah.
stream chat for everybody to enjoy. Let me pull that up real
Cool.
quick.
Thank you. This looks
Almost
cool,
forgot to
Verb.
do that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna drop that link we were about to talk about there too. I'll probably follow. I also have my stuff on WebTube. I think the strategy that I employ, and it's hard to keep track of my metrics, but in total I have been viewed over 100,000 times. But it was a
Wow.
pain in the ass for me to come to that number because I had to go and like manually count a lot of things. Because I
That's
mirror
brutal.
it everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've got. What do I fucking got?
Yeah.
Give me clout. I got 29.2k
Yeah.
listens on SoundCloud.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
let's go. It's really sad looking at the graph though, because you look back and you like see your peak. You see where you peaked off, and it was in
Yeah.
2016 for me.
You know what? That's when my SoundCloud peaked off too. Because
Really?
I started the Vomitorium, which is the main podcast, back up in 2020 because it's been dead due to technological problems. I didn't have a rig that could run it for a
For
while.
sure.
And I originally ran it in like from 2014, very late 2014 to early 2016. So kind of like a little over a year, like a year and a half span. And
Okay, wow.
during that time, we had grown to the point, I actually can pull it up. Where are my insights? We had grown to the point that we were getting okay. We were getting up to like between 2,000 to 4,000 plays every single week. And
Nice.
that was nice for me. I liked that. And
Yeah, that feels good.
yeah, let me go to the all-time. At our peak, the highest like
Mhm.
individual month or whatever, or year,
Right.
we got 98,840 with an all-time of like 120,000 plays. But then like after that, it just drops off. Almost like really cliff face because I had to stop producing it for years, and we just have not grown back up because I've basically had to regrow the audience from scratch with that big of a gap.
Yeah, totally. And it's something interesting. Like I kind of dropped off a little bit too, and then I just started making like a completely different style.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't pick back up. And then now I'm doing something completely different again. But fortunately, it's like a little more polished and can stand on its ground a little bit more.
Yeah.
But for a little bit there, I was just kind of like just doodling shit because there's so much going on in my life. Like I wasn't really trying to make anything polished. But it's weird trying to regrow back that fan base, that viewership that you once had. It's a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, like during that time, I just focused on things I could do without a lot of equipment, right? Like, so I was writing novels, or I started doing
sick.
pre-work on the comics and stuff like that. So it's like I'm still trying to do things, but it's like a completely different audience off on the other side, and
Right. Switching things. And that's such a thing too. I mean, like, because I do music,
yeah,
but I also do 3D work as well.
yeah.
I do like a lot of generative stuff for the most part. So like not really modeling a lot, but just like generating shit with like noise and fucking math equations and shit.
Yeah.
And there's definitely that disparity between audiences. Like they don't quite transfer as much. But I
Not
mean,
unless
I
you
got
can,
kind of
like,
lucky because like
somehow work them together,
Yeah.
because you could use like generative particle physics for like audio visualizers if you did stuff like that, and you could do it as almost like not a music video, but something visual if you were to upload to, say, like YouTube or something like that.
And that's exactly what I'm doing now. Actually, I'm not doing particles, but I'm doing generative shit that reacts to music for a visualizer.
Nice.
And I got really lucky because like just because I have like friends that are into music and that make music, I've gotten some freelance jobs off of it too. So
Nice.
yeah, it works out well.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
So let's shout out a
Okay,
couple
Vurb
people
wants a
real
shout
quick.
out.
Real quick,
Yeah.
though, you want to talk about this perfection incarnate a little more? I mean, we were talking. You could have been typing this whole time. I want to actually get like a synopsis of this thing or whatever, like how you feel. About
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all, not at all.
All you want to do is drop it.
Read it. Perfection Incarnate. Go out there, read it.
Yeah, right.
Enjoy it.
You got a link. Yeah, you can find it. It's on Webtoon. If you're listening to this, I don't have room in the SoundCloud description to put all the links and stuff. That gets messy. But if you're hearing this, go find Perfection Incarnate.
Absolutely. All right, who we need to shout out? Shout out Zinzin. Fucking how do you?
Zinzanix.
Zinzinix. Jesus Christ. Of the Newgrounds podcast. He's a bitch ass N-word according to Vurb. He told me not to say it.
We're saying it anyway.
Yeah.
And he did literally write N-word. It's not like you're censoring him. He censored himself.
Yeah, he literally said N-word. Yeah. Shout out Rare Kirby. fucking shout out Ready for sponsoring me. Rare Kirby's big in the Smash modding community. Oh,
Oh,
I
cool.
actually
I love
didn't know
Smash.
that. That's awesome.
Smash is great.
Yeah, I definitely love the modding part too. Is that Brawl or is that Ultimate that he's into?
I don't
Or
know, but
Melee?
judging from the name, are you like me and are you a degenerate Kirby main as well?
Ah, how could you guys? I'm a Lucas main.
Kirby is the best.
Shout out
first character.
Jankum. Shout out Jankum for Tails Gets Trolled.
Ah, you Kirby main,
Fantastic.
you're a Pac-Man main. Actually, that's probably the most degenerate character you can main is Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, absolutely. He's good though. When you're good
No,
with
he's a
Pac-Man,
really
you're like,
good character, but it's like one of the
you are
worst
the-
people to play against.
I hate it. Yeah, I absolutely hate it. I don't know. I'd shout out more people, but most of them don't have a web presence, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vurb being a
Yeah.
homie. Yeah. I can't think of anyone else.
Shout
dude.
out to newgrounds.com and Tom Fulp.
Shout out to
for
newgrounds.com, Tom Fulp.
being an amazing
Shout out
place.
to Mace. Oh, shout out to I don't know him personally or anything, but he's a huge inspiration. Haywire. Haywyre. Fantastic jazz musician that's got turned on to making electronic music. Does fucking awesome shit. And then I think I have one last shout out. Fucking let me find this dude's name. Shout out to Bickle for the Get a Job song.
Mm. See, I need to go look that up so I can just like as I'm going through Craigslist, just have that playing right. You know.
It's so good. Let me.
Yeah.
I'll link it to you. It's too
Yeah, there you
good.
go. Yeah, yeah. We'll listen to that after this.
And and shout out to a dude in a vid that you guys can't see. But yeah,
Yes, Vurbank
think
is the one
that's- I
saying
think
to do
that's
the
pretty
shout
much
out.
it.
That's-
yeah, Vurb is the one saying to do the shout out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? That's, you know,
Shout out
that's
to my
about our
mom, my
hour.
family.
Unless you guys have anything else you want
Cool.
to say.
I don't think so. Verb, you got anything else? We got fucking just to repeat it. Cindy's prom night coming July 22nd. Whatever the name of my EP is, Weirdos out on the 16th in all stores, available in SoundCloud already if you guys want to hear it. Yeah,
I
think that's pretty much
It's like,
it.
you know, whatever the fucking thing I named it was.
the thing I named it that I worked on for months. What was that called
Yeah.
again?
If anybody should know, it should probably be me, but whatever.
Right.
My problem is like I'm usually really good at remembering the names of stuff because
Yeah.
I come up with some of the best names. But at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
I work on so many things. It's like it's one of them.
Hey, it's hard to remember. Oh yeah, shout out to Robert Valley. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, well,
I think that's it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you guys for
Thank
coming
you
on.
so
It was
much.
great talking about your stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on, dude. It was hella fun.
Yeah, I love doing stuff like this.